Outgrowing the mama's boy identity, becoming a mature, independent, kingdom built man. There comes a point in every man's life where the version of himself that once kept him safe begins to hold him back. One of the most common and most damaging version is the mama's boy. It's an identity that often starts innocently. A mother who loves deeply, a son who naturally stays close, a bond that was necessary during childhood. But if that dynamic doesn't evolve, it can create a man who struggles to fully stand on his own feet, make firm decisions, or walk into manhood without guilt, fear, or emotional sabotage. Many men know the feeling even if they don't say it out loud. This post is not about dishonor. It's about growth, individuation, and identity, because no man can live out his calling while still trying to emotionally survive his mother's expectations. The first truth: a man cannot become who he is while still living as someone's little boy. A mama's boy identity often produces emotional hesitation, second guessing yourself because you can still hear her voice overriding your instincts. Difficulty making independent decisions. You fear disappointing her more than you fear missing your own destiny. People-pleasing tendencies, especially towards women, because you were conditioned to maintain peace at the cost of your boundaries. Guilt when you choose yourself, even when the decision is healthy, logical, and necessary. A distorted understanding of masculinity. You were raised to be compliant, not a leader. None of this means your mother is toxic or malicious now. Some mothers are simply overly attached, overly involved, or fearful of losing their son's emotional presence. But a man cannot stay in emotional childhood and expect to function in a masculine adulthood. The problem: a man who doesn't outgrow his mother's control becomes emotionally handicapped. If a man doesn't transition out of the mama's boy state, he will struggle in relationships because his partner will feel like she comes around second to his mother's approval. Avoid responsibility because he was not conditioned to operate with masculine decisiveness. Stay financially stunted. Many mothers unconsciously baby their sons by keeping them dependent. Lack internal authority. You can't lead a household when you're still unconsciously being led by your mother's voice. Become a man who looks grown but behaves young, at a dangerous imbalance. This is why independence is not rebellion. It is initiation into real manhood. What healthy separation looks like. A mature man does not reject his mother, but he repositions himself in relationship to her. Healthy separation means you make decisions based on your calling, not her fears. You learn to self-validate. You stop seeking maternal permission for adult choices. You manage your own emotions instead of leaning on her for stability. You set boundaries without guilt. This is spiritual, emotional, and psychological self-management. It is not dishonor. It is maturity. The hard truth: some mothers don't want their sons to grow up. Not because they're evil, not because they're afraid. A mother who made her son her emotional support system may guilt trip, manipulate through tears, shame you for changing, quote unquote, criticize your independence, treat your boundaries as rejection. These behaviors can trap a man in a loop that keeps him stuck, unable to develop the backbone required for leadership. But you cannot sacrifice your manhood to satisfy her comfort. Becoming a kingdom man requires complete identity separation. Even Jesus had to break away from his earthly family to step fully into his assignment. David left his household to follow God's call. Abraham was instructed to leave your father's house. Growing up always involves leaving something behind. A kingdom man honors his mother, protects her when needed, helps her when appropriate, but does not live under emotional dictatorship or childhood expectations. Honor does not require bondage. The distinction: honoring your mother versus being her puppet. Honoring your mother, the healthy version. You respect her, you love her, you listen, but you make your own choices. You support her when you can, you maintain boundaries, you live your own life. Being controlled by your mother, the unhealthy part is you feel guilty for making adult decisions. You prioritize her emotions over your purpose. You let her influence your relationships. You are afraid of upsetting her. You remain emotionally dependent. You stay small so she stays comfortable. One produces strength, the other produces stagnation. The takeaway: you cannot lead a family, a business, or a calling while still being led by childhood bonds. Your mother gave you life, but she does not define your destiny. A man becomes a man when he chooses independence, identity, backbone, vision, purpose. God. Not in defiance, but in maturity. A good mother will adjust, a controlling mother will resist, but either way, your manhood must rise. Blessings and strength, Corwin L. Gilliams.